Would Oklahoma become an all-black state? Spoiler alert, no. Hey, what's up everyone? It's Coach W here with another round of Oklahoma history. Today we're going to be talking about the push to make Oklahoma an all-black state. Before we get to talking about our main character here, Edward P. McCabe, I just wanted to remind you to go ahead and hit that like button, comment with any questions you may have, and subscribe to the channel. Back to the big question. Would Oklahoma become an all-black state? Now, such an idea may seem a bit preposterous to modern ears. After all, we live in a diverse nation and state with laws designed to guarantee equal treatment to everyone. Well, now we do anyway. To understand the push to make Oklahoma an all-black state, we need to get a bit of context. After the Civil War, racial violence permeated the American South. Lynchings and beatings became an accepted norm in many areas. Former Confederate officers started the Ku Klux Klan, a terror organization dedicated to advancing white supremacy. The 13th Amendment formally abolished slavery in December of 1865. While slavery was eliminated, the people of the South replaced it with black codes and Jim Crow laws. Black codes limited the rights of black people in society, and Jim Crow laws legalized segregation. Segregation is the idea that blacks and other minorities could not use the same things as their white counterparts. Schools, bathrooms, stores, hotels, public transportation, restaurants, and even water fountains. You name it, it was segregated somewhere in the United States. While this racial discrimination was more prevalent in the South, it existed throughout the country, though often not quite as severe as it was in the South. Much of this discrimination didn't end until after the conclusion of the Civil Rights Movement in the 1960s. In the last part of the 1800s, blacks in the South faced racism, violence, and economic disadvantages. But Edward P. McCabe, a mixed-race lawyer born in New York, saw Oklahoma as an opportunity. Edward, or Edwin as he is often called, once described Oklahoma as the paradise of Eden and the garden of the gods. In 1890, he co-founded the township of Langston, Oklahoma, just short of a dozen miles east of what would eventually become the temporary state capital, the city of Guthrie. The town was named after John Mercer Langston, the first black man to represent Virginia in Congress and a leader in the fight for equality after the Civil War. McCabe's vision for Oklahoma was an all-black state. In this state, blacks wouldn't need to fear the violence so prevalent in the South. They wouldn't have to worry about mistreatment based on race. They wouldn't
need to worry about discrimination
in schools or restaurants or anything like that. They could come make a name for themselves and prosper in Oklahoma, especially if McCabe's vision of an all-black state came to pass. The thought was that just as the town's namesake, John Mercer Langston, served as a leader for the oppressed blacks in the South, so too would the town of Langston lead the charge for the oppressed blacks who wanted to create their own state. McCabe's newspaper, the Langston City Herald, once wrote that Oklahoma was where the Negro can rest from the mob law. Here he can be secure from every ill of the Southern policies. While this dream might have been rooted in the high ideals of racial equality, this push was not wholly altruistic. Many historians view McCabe's desire to be governor as a driver of his actions. So what happened to the all-black state? The politics of the era proved too strong to favor the creation of an all-black state. Life in Langston wasn't the Garden of Eden for everyone, with one source writing that the town's inhabitants couldn't sustain themselves and moved out. Though Edward P. McCabe failed in his effort to create an all-black state, he helped start the state's first college that served African Americans, Langston University. The college, started in 1897, currently serves just over 2,000 students, the majority of whom claim at least some part of an African American lineage. Further, just after statehood, he took a case to the Supreme Court. The Enabling Act, the law that enabled Oklahoma to become a state, banned segregation in the new state. However, this wouldn't stand. The state soon passed segregation laws, and Edward took issue with this. As a lawyer, he took a case to the Supreme Court that challenged some of the new state segregation laws. Despite losing his case in court, he stood up for an ideal that he believed in. Today, Edward P. McCabe serves as a fascinating case study for activists and scholars alike. His life shows the perils of mixing the quest for progress with the desire for personal power.
That's all we have for today. Make sure you like the video, share it with whoever you think would enjoy it, subscribe to the channel, and leave any questions or thoughts in the comments section. Until next time.